Hi, I'm Cecelia Dowdy. I'm here today to talk to you about Sugar and Spice. Here's the cover. It's a book that I wrote, and it's a Christmas novella. Sugar and Spice is a warm, emotional Christmas story that will just make you feel good. And there are so many elements in there that I enjoyed writing about. I enjoyed creating this story for you to enjoy, and I think you should check it out. Uh, Let me tell you a little bit about it. Sheila is the main character, and she's still grieving over her breakup. She had a really bad breakup with her fiance, and she's still upset over that. And so her fiance moves away. So at the beginning of the story, she goes to this bakery that has recently opened in her town. She's shocked that her fiance is actually running the bakery, and she's confused by this because her fiance is not a baker. And so she's yelling at him about, like, why did he come back? Why is he, is he here to torment her, or why did he come back as a baker? And the the man that she's yelling at, he is just so flabbergasted, he can't really say anything. And then she looks at him really closely and realizes that it's not her fiance. It's actually his identical twin brother. And when Mason, that's the identical twin brother of her fiance, when he tries to tell her who he is, he has a hard time because he stutters. So, and Mason feels bad for Sheila because he's always lived in his brother's shadow. His brother was always the person that could talk to the ladies and have be nice, have a nice personality that people can connect with, and verbally he just knows what to say. But Mason's never been like that. He's always been a stutterer. So he's always had a hard time connecting with women and finding dates because he has a hard time expressing himself because of his stutter. So when Sheila storms in, all these memories of when he was in high school pop into his brain, because when he was in high school, when him and his identical twin brother were in high school, his brother was a womanizer. So his brother would date all these women and break up with them. And they come crying to Mason, because he's he's the identical twin brother. Since his brother has treated these women so badly, they come crying to him for, like, emotional support or maybe just advice, anything, anything that can help them, get over their broken heart. So all of these dormant feelings resurface when Sheila comes storming into his bakery. And Sheila is confused because although she was engaged to Mason's twin, she didn't realize that her fiance had an identical twin brother. So she doesn't understand why he never told her that. So, and Sheila is dealing with a lot because she's just lost her job and she doesn't have any money. So another thing that happens is her father has recently gotten out of prison, and he wants to connect with her. And that's just another thing that's going on within this story. But she doesn't have the funds to go and visit her father after he's been released because she doesn't have a job and she can barely pay her bills. So Mason tries to help Sheila. So to find out what happens next, you'll need to read Sugar and Spice. And it's like I said, it's a Christmas story. And a lot of people, when they go to Mason's bakery, they feel better after they eat his sweets. He has a chocolate peanut butter cake that is so good, and the recipe is in the back of the book. I highly encourage you to make it. The cake is chocolate, and the icing is peanut butter, and it is delicious. And when people eat his chocolate cake with peanut butter icing, they might feel kind of bad or downtrodden when they come to the bakery. But after they eat a piece of that cake, their spirits just kind of just lift, and they just feel better and just in a better mood, in a better place after eating his cake. So to find out what happens with Mason and Sheila, you'll need to read Sugar and Spice, and read it during the Christmas season. That's what I recommend. You can read it anytime, but Christmas is, a warm, feel-good time for a lot of people. So I think that's where, that's why I've said it during that time frame. Another thing that I would like to share, I'd like to share how I happened to choose how I happened to think of this storyline. I chose Mason to be a stutterer because my son was a stutterer when he was a child. We were in therapy for years. We would go to we would go to the speech pathologist, and the story started growing back then a long time ago, but I didn't really know. I was like, when I write a story, I don't really know I'm writing a story. It just kind of, the seed is kind of planted in my mind, and the story might not actually come forth until years later. It's just kind of there in the back of my mind, being written. I don't even know if that makes any sense to you, but that's the way it works for me. I was speaking to my son's speech pathologist, and I happened to ask her, did she have any adult patients? Because I only saw children in her office, for help with their stutter or what other kind of speech problem they were having. They were always children. So she told me that she did have an adult male, a male adult patient. She said that he had a high level job at at a company. It was pretty high, pretty high level, like I said, and his peers told him, for that high level of a job, it was somewhat distracting, like when they would have meetings and stuff, because he stuttered so badly. They suggested that he get help for his stutter. So that's why he came to my son's speech pathologist to get help with his stutter. So she told me this, and I mean, she didn't give me any confidential information. She didn't tell me the person's name or anything. Just want to get that clear. But what I did when she told me that, the first thing I thought when I was driving my son home from his appointment, I thought, that poor man. I'm talking about the man that she just told me about. I said to myself, wow. I said, what would happen if he met somebody that he liked and he wants to ask her out on a date and he just can't get the words out? And that stayed with me. And then years later, I wrote Sugar and Spice. I think it was initially forming in my mind back then. So it's a wonderful book. It's had several great reviews on Amazon, and I think you'll really enjoy this. And it's in paperback and ebook, and you can even buy copies for friends as stocking stuffers, because it's a nice feel good, holiday story. You can read it, even during the holiday break. Between Christmas and New Year's, a lot of people are off from work and they're just relaxing. This would be a good book to read then. So check out Sugar and Spice. Tell your friends. If you have anybody who likes to read, let them know about this wonderful book. And it's perfect for the Christmas season. So thanks for listening to this video in its entirety, and have a good day.